Hello YouTube and welcome to GrunfWorks Plays KSP, and in this episode we will be constructing our very own first orbital space station around Kerbin in low orbit. Low orbit I mean around 100 kilometers. Now this will take multiple episodes, not necessarily all in sequence, but today we will be constructing and launching the very first of the modules. And given that, I'm actually looking at my tech tree to find which specific node has the one tiny station piece that I need, and that's that 8-way switch, and it's of course the metamaterials, as you can say. So we will be researching that, and we will get right on the construction of our brand new orbital space station. So let's take a look. What do we have here? I'm gonna want to take the cupola module because I have to think now in terms of the space station. I'm designing components of the space station. Right, now then I want to be taking probably some fuel tanks or something like that. Maybe RCS tank or the regular, no, I want the flat and stubby one. Come on, 2.5 meters. That one. Something like that. Alright, because I want the space station to have fuel if the ships come over and want to refuel. So then let's put this guy backwards. Then the component that I always wanted to place. Then we put another Rocomax adapter. There we go. Then we will be placing you on this side. There we go. Now we want to be putting small docking ports on this side. And another small duplicate, yes, thank you. Another small port on this side, and then two big docking ports, senior docking ports on this side, one on this and one on that. And then I want to be sure that I'm putting another senior docking port at the bottom. There we go, because we will be docking modules here. Then I'm gonna put a lander can. However, I want to put it over a decoupler or even maybe a stack separator. I think the decoupler should work fine. You know, lander module. Think of it like, I don't know, Soyuz. You know, I want to be placing something here which can be used then to, you know, go back to Kerbin if we need to. And given the fact that I didn't want to, you know, dock it here in the VAB, that's why I've placed it over the decoupler. Open the doors. Oh, I didn't know that it has doors. Oh, this is a cool design. Okay, batteries. Nice place to store them. Love it. Alright. Close the doors. Now I want to be placing solar panels. Should I place these? No, I'm just trying to find some good ones. And I like to place them, you know, symmetrical, but the game is not really helping with that, to be honest. I'll place them here-ish, sorta. Now, let's see, what I want to do is drag chutes to decelerate, of course, and then I want the main chutes. Oh, they're gonna just look horrendous, aren't they? If I don't center them. The problem is because I cannot place these things on the doors. So yeah, I'll just look hideous. Okay, I have to fix those a little bit, like this. Okay, I can live with this. Fine. The big reaction wheels, of course. I'll need it to steer the whole goddamn rocket. There we go, another fuel tank. Yeah, do I want an RCS tank or a real tank? I'm thinking payload bay maybe. Yeah, here we can stuff whatever we want in terms of research and all that jazz. However, I'm wondering if I really need the research bin here. Let's see how it would look first. Research bin in the middle. And then some more science components, just in case we land somewhere completely bonkers. You know, there's still so many places on Kerbin that I haven't explored that there is a good chance that if I land the lander somewhere in Kerbin, I could do some extra science for, well, extra science, so yeah. And I'm thinking just like if I place these baguette tanks, maybe I'll have enough delta V to do anything of note here. Maybe toroidal tanks. You know, it really looks kind of cool if you were trying to place these things inside and then just make a little, you know, fuel lines, making sure that everything is connected. And then a little bit further down the line, as I've been constructing this and then I see this fuel line sticking out, I just thought to myself, I mean, why do I bother? So, as much as I initially liked the idea, I think I'm gonna get rid of it. And of course I cannot put the landing legs on this guy, so I have to put them something like this, like I did on my Duna lander. And yeah, it's not bad per se. Something like that. Heat shield and everything else will be fine. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not 100% sold on this. I might need to revise it later. So, heat shield, yeah, and then we need some engines. And if I place the engines, they have 158 meters per second. That's not gonna cut it, Chief. What about the monoprop fuel engines? What about this guy? If I place it here, no, it's separated by a heat shield doofus and 165 meters per second. That's a little bit too low, to be honest. So you see me when I'm saying the revising, basically it accounts for nothing. So what if I place this on top and then I place these tanks on the bottom, something like that. If I place the engine, that's even less. Okay, so that doesn't work clearly. I mean, it works, but it doesn't give me the delta V I need. And I don't need a huge delta V, I need a little bit of it. But this is giving me a little bit too low for it. Let's see, in vacuum, 107 meters per second. Well, that's not really stellar. I mean, I do need, after all, only to be able to get back. So this is like 210 meters per second, but I'm fully covering my research science container. And then what's the point of having a science container if I cannot activate it? I could set it on an action group, but at this point I'm considering, you know, maybe it's just not worth it. This is a final check to see if I could, you know, burn, and then I realized, wait, I cannot burn through the decoupler. So I decided just to scrap the idea altogether. Let's do it like this, rather. We'll put one Mr. Ego here, and then we're completely negating the need for this cargo bay, essentially, apart from the experiments collection module, but that we really don't need. And then let's just place all the experiments here inside, so they're nicely aligned. Yeah, I think that will work actually. See, like that. Wonderful. I mean, we do everything in duplicate, why not? Sure. And now we take away this guy, and then we set something more natural, like a pancake fuel tank or something. Like this guy, for example. And then we stick a heat shield on it with extended legs. That looks okay, and I can even put it a little bit lower so it works nicer. Something like that. Start extended, there we go. Now, what I want to be doing is, I want to strut this. You can never be too careful with strutting stuff. Wait, where's symmetry? Oh, right. Wrong origin node. There we go. Now we got symmetry. Good. Okay, let's call this Station Kerbin Orbital Lab. Or Station Mark 1. Kerbin Orbital Station, yes, thank you, perfect. Now, that thing being said, I think we need some, yeah, engines. Look at that, 546, thrust of 0.129, but then again I'm not in the race, so this should suffice actually for the return module. Let's get rid of these messages and then let's go with onward with constructing the station. We do a decoupler, thank you. Then I want to be doing the tank, yes. Oh wait, hold on. I actually want to be designing the payload, and here if I place this guy, then I want to be creating a cross section. Oh wait, clipping, not good. That's better. Okay, so that would be a very chubby rocket. Clamshell deploy, I mean it looks kind of okay, but what I really would want is to use a returnable rocket even. So if I place this guy here, good. This guy here, okay. Mainsail, what's our thrust to weight? 1.47, so it's still doable, okay. It just might need a little bit of boosters to kick it in. Okay, so let's see, side boosters, there we go. Actually, I prefer the detachment manifold along with these boosters. They just look much better, don't they? And then I'll put these engines on the side, which should give us more than enough. There we go. 6 of them. I mean, just looks cooler. I'm gonna set, of course, the onion staging here. That's the lazy people staging. Now, but here I would really like to make this stack reusable so that it can come back. So how am I gonna do that? Interstage nodes, so let's see if we can do it like this. Hold on. Decoupler. Now, if I place it here and turn on the interstage nodes and place it like this, then it's gonna be on the truss, which is good. That's the whole point, which gives me enough room below to put the probe core, reaction wheels, and make sure that this stage is returnable. Yes, that would be the idea. Okay, we do this. I want to disable the torque on this guy then, because if we have torque on both reaction wheels, they will be tearing the rocket to pieces, because they will try and oppose each other, so that's not a good idea. Now, communication device. I don't need a bigger communication device than this guy actually for the return stage, or the main stage if you want to call it that. Alright, and we place these guys. You are gonna group with those, and separators are gonna be burning together with this. Good. Okay, and then we need to be fixing the fairing. Okay, hold on. These guys, yeah, we have to be fixing the fairing. Then I want to return the air brakes, yes, as well. They help out decelerate things. Chutes, yes. Double sets of chutes, that will be working perfectly. And then we come to designing the fairing. Okay, some lights perhaps. And actually not only lights, I will need some, yes, solar panels, power generation. Something like that. Then a small antenna for the relays in the future. And I want to be placing another antenna. Now, which one should I be placing? That's a real question. I can place a small one here if need be. Landing gear, oh, it's not long enough. Yeah, I don't think that would work anyway, so... How about the stability enhancers? Yes. Goody goody. Check your staging, of course, doofus, because that would be really silly if that went all to bananas. There we go, and then a final piece would be to build a fairing around this. Oh, these should be firing together with this guy, yeah. Okay, and then the parachutes and everything there. Cool. This lander will also act as a small tug if we need to, you know, circularize or anything. So let's build a fairing now. Big one, smaller one, bigger one, yep, big one, and big one, and corrections. Good. You will notice that I have clamshell deploy. I later just reverted to confetti. I mean, for no obvious reasons, just decided that I prefer confetti in this case, so something doesn't get stuck in between. Okay, we have everything, and I believe crew-wise we want to be putting Felix for pilot, and then I have two more. I want a scientist, Enley Kerman, and then engineer Dan Kerman. Dan Peterson, you are gonna be on the first space station, and you're its chief engineer. Hope you like it. Time for the launch. Felix, Enley, and Dan are going up, and the rocket that I have so lovingly constructed, which looks like a giant... I'm not gonna say it. Yeah. Alright, so we have a good thrust to weight, 2.41. That's a little bit even too high. Separating the boosters, which in turn started to collide with each other. And now we are burning for the apoapsis. We're gonna go for 100 kilometers orbit, but I have to remind myself to save a little bit of fuel of Delta V in the main stage to be able to return. There we go, rocket running ahead, hot, straight and normal. And as always, as we are ascending, I'm just keeping an eye on my apoapsis, which is, I'm looking, it should be now around 100, and then we cut the engines. And of course, I'm gonna drag out the apoapsis, hopefully. There we go, circularization burn. A total of 1382 with a 1381 meters per second in the main stage. We deploy the confetti, thank you. I usually wait until get to space until I deploy the fairing. Pointing the maneuver prograde, and we have a burn time of 46 seconds. Note, I will not use all the fuel that is in the main stage. I'll have to reserve a little bit for the return. Okay, getting ready for the burn. And burning. Felix, Enley, and Dan, I hope you feel ready for a little bit longer stay in the space. Extend solar panel. Extend the solar panel. Wonderful. Alright, almost there, and I'm gonna cut the engine somewhere about here, and then I'm gonna stage, and then just circularize the rest on these little engines. They have more than enough to be able to circularize. 100 by 80, I'm gonna fix that later. Alright. Alright, now let's take a look at the return stage. I will be returning that one to Kerbin sooner rather than later. Alright, let's align orbit retrograde. Burn a little bit to decrease our periapsis to the 20-ish mark. And let's time accelerate until the re-entry. Alright, just correcting the orbit retrograde orientation. And we are hitting the atmosphere, which means I should be deploying the brakes soon rather than later. Alright, and our orbital velocity is increasing because we are going down, obviously. However, once I actually deploy the brakes, which I'm guessing should be at any moment now, I'm hoping to produce enough drag to be able to decelerate. Yeah, here we go, brakes. And I'm hoping that although we will experience quite a lot of heating, I'm hoping that the brakes will be able to decelerate the rocket before they burn out and disintegrate. Here comes the heating effects, and now it's the moment of truth. As you can see, the air brakes are already starting to decelerate. However, we are too high up, so the air is so thin, so I decided to kick in the engine just a little bit. The lower in the atmosphere we will come, the better effect the air brakes will have, but more pronounced the heating. So let's say it's a little bit of the race between the heating effects on the brakes, which means they'll blow, or them decelerating the craft onwards, or decelerating the crafts to prevent heating from happening. Those two forces will become in delicate balance, and hopefully the drag will prevail, ensuring that the rocket decelerates. It's becoming warm here. But the air brakes are decelerating at a very, very good pace, so I'm hoping nothing will blow. There are two risks to this approach actually. This is the first one. The second one is the fact that I don't have the landing legs for the rocket, meaning that I will be landing on the engine bell. If the terrain is even slightly uneven, that will probably mean, and there we go. The heating effects are gone and the brakes have done their job perfectly. Now we're waiting till they decelerate the craft to the safe velocity so that we can deploy the chutes. Okay, and we are still high up, so I'm gonna enable the chutes sooner rather than later, but when we are at some decent velocity. And as you can see, the brakes are really slowing the velocity down. We're not even the supersonic, and we pop the chutes, which should hopefully do the rest. Passing 3,000 meters, 2,000 meters, 1,000 meters. The chute's opened and downwards velocity is at 4 meters per second, which is rather good. And now the SAS is messing up stuff by trying to overcompensate. So let's turn it off. As you can see, the rocket settled. 300 meters. 2, 1, and let's kill the time acceleration and get ready on the deceleration burn. And oh. Well, at least I'll recover the air brakes. Alright, back to the Kerbin Orbital station craft. Let's just make sure that it makes nice orbit and then we're good. Periapsis is at 100 kilometers. Let's just correct it so that it's nice 100 by 100, as much as it can be. Alright. Just a smidge of a burn. 100 by 100. I think that's good enough. So, I'm gonna disable the engines. There we go, and then set it to normal prograde, so it gives a great vibe. Well, guys, that's the beginnings of our Kerbin Orbital station, and I believe we should just rename it to Station Kerbin Orbital. That's a good name. Well, that's about it, guys. Like if you like the episode, hit subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, thank you very much for watching. This is GrunfWorks, signing off.